And the final question I love to ask is, if people are only gonna see this last clip, like this is all they're gonna see, what is one message you would have for the people?
One message I will have to the people, if this is my last clip they're seeing. 165. Yo. What you know about VI badness outside there with the dog them active. Bad bitch want fuck with a man from St. Kitts, so we too real no acting. Done link with the Trini and the Yardies, them GT done know so we locked in. Bad B want fuck with the Island G, and God I know she ain't capping. Bend over do that thing when he clapping. Dirty eater, she need some napkins. Bend for the camera if your body ain't catfish. Never pop a pill, man, naturally active. Pretty little kitty, but she attitude toxic. Golden rule in the room, do not spit. Your pussy and me cockpit. Number 1 out of 10. Top pick, silent killer, operate with tactics. Come on my yard, let we do gymnastics. Don't wanna leave, that's a new brand captive. New brand pussy, but same old mattress. New brand movie, same old acting. New name for them is Captain Capping. Always talk, but nothing ain't happening. No way back on road, they lapping them. What you know about VI badness? Outside there with the dog, them active. Bad bitch want fuck with a man from St. Kitts, so we too real, no acting. Done link with the Trini and the Yardies, them GT done know so we locked in. Bad B want fuck with the Island G, and God I know she ain't capping.
Walla na man! From SK to Trinidad.
Yeah, slide on them in the feel like their key. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
About to kick this off. Greetings and welcome to the Renaissance Reflections Chamber, man. Also known as the Double I Chambers. You're tuning in for an episode of the Renaissance Reflections, Conversations with Judas, where I meet with exceptional individuals and take a stroll down memory lane to their journey to success, to get a better understanding of their start, where they're at now, what they plan to do in the future, and just to see how we could benefit from their backstory and get a better understanding of ourselves as well. Right now, I'm in stupendous company, man. This guy is extremely multifaceted. You could call him a rapper, you could call him a soca artist, you could call him a model, but I think a term that's fitting for someone of his caliber is just a multifaceted creative, man, just on a journey to just impact the people, take his life to the next level, inspire you to take your life to the next level, and just continue treading and self-actualization, man. Like, that's the goal, you know what I'm saying? And I'm joined tonight with none other than the great Mod Stoney. How you feeling, bro?
First and foremost, what an intro. Yeah, that might get end up on a project. And to answer your question, I'm feeling marvelous. I'm great, Judas.
Man, it's a pleasure to have you.
Can I address you as Judas? And I don't know if your audience know about that moniker or
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, this is a conversational space, man, and I feel like I bring in my full creative self. So that's where it is the SK twang and the, you know, not as, you know what I mean? Because I want to make it comfortable. I want to create a safe space where we could come share with stories, man, because I know you have a phenomenal story, but like I was telling you earlier, that people know the music, but we don't necessarily know the person behind the music. And I think it's extremely important for us to understand the type of individual that you are, because we don't want it to be a situation where the message or the idea is going over people's heads. So I want to give you an opportunity to shed some light on the magnificent individual that is Mod Stoney. So I think I'm going to kick this off with just background information, starting real basic. For someone that does not know who Mod Stoney is, how would you describe Mod Stoney to them?
Well, first and foremost, I want to big up everybody who tuning into the Renaissance podcast. Thank you for having me. My name is Mod Stoney, for those of you who don't know me out there. Mod Stoney is a plethora of things or words I can use to describe myself. Some would say, when it comes to the musical sense, our scene in St. Kitts is like a kind of mythical kind of figure, like an omnipotent one, so to speak, in just the way how I navigate through the space. But Mod Stoney is a very multifaceted, genre-bending recording artist from the Astia New Tongue St. Kitts.
I like that you're being modest about that, yeah? Because I think you could do a bit more, but I love that, man. I definitely love that. Where does the name Mod Stoney come from? What's the story behind that?
Funny enough, like Mod, that's the acronym, that's the initials for my government name, Masud or David. So that where the Mod come from is actually my name. And Stoney derived from, I would say lifestyle, you know. I have a female friend by the name of Moyo from Tabernacle. We had a little circle called Point, so we used to go out a lot. And one time, actually, we used to go Fat Tuesdays. We spoke about that earlier.
Yeah, the good old days.
Yeah, I ain't really the best a drinker like that. I'd get woohoo quick. So one time I get kind of lit and she was like, oh, Mr. Stone, Mr. Stoney. And you just freaking. And I just actually like, at the time I was like fishing for like artist name. And one thing I knew at that time, I need a two-part name because I was heavily consuming a lot of Wiz Khalifa music and so on. I was a fan of Wiz Khalifa like in college days, school days. So just the name like Wiz Khalifa, it just sound dope, you feel me? So I had Mod, but it just sound like Mod. Mod could be so much things. It could be an admin, I needed something that stand out. So then I remember when the name like, Maya bestowed upon me resonated, and when she said Stoney, play with it, and I was like Mod Stoney, and then I Googled it, put it into Google, and it was original. And when something is original, I mean unique, it's one of a kind, so that's why I got the name. I dubbed myself with the title Mod Stoney. That's how I chose my name, Mod Stoney.
Oh, I feel that. That's an interesting story, man. And what I noticed too is you never know what the thing is gonna be that's gonna stick, you know what I'm saying? What's gonna speak to you. And if you're paying attention, you could definitely find a lot, man. So that's definitely dope. And staying on the name of Mod Stoney, you mentioned your government name earlier, Masud.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I was gonna ask you this: is Mod Stoney and Masud the same person, or they're different?
Well, before I used to fight and say they is the same person, but over the years I've came to a realization that Mod Stoney is completely different from Masud, and I'm fine, and I'm in the space now where I could accept that, because right now I feel like you're talking to Masud right now. I respect you enough to like, have a dialogue with you as Masud, you feel me? Because
definitely.
People don't really get to see the man behind the artist. I hear from the man behind the artist is like, I remove the mask right now.
And I appreciate that, man. That's what we want, you know what I mean? Because Masud is what built Mod Stoney.
Correct.
You feel what I'm saying? Foundation is important.
Correct.
Yeah, so we definitely just trying to understand that perspective, man. And you say you're full enough skill that you could have been a baller, could have been a lot of things, but not an informer.
Yeah.
So, because you're so multifaceted, why is it that you choose the music out of all the things that you could have done?
Honestly, for one, I feel like that we're most naturally gifted at. Like, I don't have to try.
Effortless.
Like, waking up, like, splat. Saying salt, sprinkle it. Yeah, it's just like effortless.
Same type of energy.
Yeah, so it's like not saying that I don't put in like the hours to perfect my craft and my skills, but it just come natural even when I'm doing that like training and practicing or whatever, like, when I'm in that element. You just don't feel like I'm working.
Because it's something you enjoy.
Yeah, I just enjoy doing it, whereas, like we said earlier, you preferred playing tennis over other sports because, if you mess up, it's on you.
For sure.
No, music, if I mess up, one could say you could blame this person, that person, but I feel like it's on me because I have to ensure and make sure that everything got the way I want it to go.
Facts.
You understand? So whereas, let's say with cricket, football, basketball, all these team sport now, you lose as a team and you win as a team.
So fact.
You feel me? And also, imagine if like you is the man gotta take the final penalty and you miss that penalty.
It's a lot of pressure, man.
A lot of pressure, you feel me? So, I just feel like the artist route was just the more comforting thing for me. And I always said, like, everything I'm doing right now, I said, like, I would have did it, you feel me, respectfully since high school. Like, facts.
Use a fortune teller, so listen to what you say.
It's up to you. I know what he's saying, and I know you're going to manifest what he's saying. You check on my time and my speed, and my speed is my speed, and your speed is yours.
Shout out to Zoo, man.
Keeping it true.
You said you decided on the music. I think the best way to frame this is you decided to pursue the music. Do you remember the time when it was like, yo, this thing walking? I could see the fruits of my labor, because a lot of the times you got to plant seeds and water them and wait for them to grow, right? And it take vision, but you also take consistency and determination to get to where you're trying to go. Do you remember that time when you decided like, yo, this is it, it's happening, motion?
Yeah, actually do. Like, you see, when you plan out your moves, it kind of easy somewhat to see what's going on around you. Because, like I said, since I'm in high school, in Washi, big up Washi Wildcats, best school in the world. You understand me? I really care who feel that way. It's love at the end of the day, but Wildcats is Wildcats, you don't know. My time of being a Wildcat, we were mapping up everything.
Golden era.
Golden era, Washi, you feel me? So that's why I got a kind of sense of arrogance and tone right now, because all we used to do was win, you feel me? But nevertheless, since in class, I used to drum and this and freestyle with my friends them and stuff like that. And I can remember one time Miss Watley, big up Miss Watley, Actually, that's Infamous sister, legendary Infamous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that his sister, she actually was one of my teachers. And I can remember one time she asked, like, you know, what you want to be? And I said, like, I'm going to be a recording artist and perform on big shows, do M-Fest and so on things. And maybe I might not use the word M-Fest at the time.
Yeah.
But I pretty much said, like, I'll be doing what I'm doing now, just watch. And some of my peers, them, some laugh. You know, we got, you just chatting, you know, we go.
Yeah.
But I know what it was about. I've been studying the game.
Nah, I feel that. And the reason why you're asking you that too is because I remember Shanta telling me one time, yeah, man, since he was in school, man said, yeah, I'm going to be an artist. And he just went and did that.
Yeah.
And I asked you earlier about that confidence and that conviction that you have about your vision and what you want to do, where you see yourself going. And you own that enough to vocalize it. Because people would have aspirations, but they don't vocalize the aspirations. They tend to hold on to the aspirations, right, to themselves. And you're very open. So where does that confidence come from in your ability to get things done?
I feel like you just gotta believe. I mean, it's a cliche to say that. The confidence come from maybe just having a religious background too also. Once you come from certain background and you really believe in whatever like God you pray to and you believe in the word and you apply the word to your life, it may not be the same. So my belief come from maybe my spiritual background, and I know like the tongue is a strong tool.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And I believe in manifestation and like positive energy. So I find that work a lot for me, and I very enclosed in a bubble.
Yeah.
Where I don't really like my energy really to be tampered with by any and everybody, because sometimes every interaction people plant seeds, you feel me, whether it's positive or negative, but you gotta be aware to realize and be in tune with yourself to understand what's going on.
That's take a certain level of self-awareness. Where you think that self-awareness come from?
Spending time with myself. Yeah, I feel like spending time with myself a lot, and it actually kicking more like when I migrated to like New York.
Yeah. I just wanted to talk briefly about what the transition was like for you moving out there from St. Kitts. I call it Ghoul because like...
Yeah.
You know,
your safe space. Ghoul. Nobody can touch you in Ghoul.
Oh, of course.
You can't catch you in Ghoul.
So could you talk a little bit about what the transition was like for you after, leaving St. Kitts? Because you was at the peak when you left St. Kitts.
Well, it was always a part of the plan still, because if you listen to... I have a track called Run to the Money and a collab project called The New SK featuring Abi the Mayor at the time, and I had a line say, "It come like they want me go New York and come back like foreign." You understand?
Yeah.
So I always had the foresight that like everything was going on. Like I was like, okay, maybe I underappreciated now, so maybe I gotta miss me a little bit to really start to realize what I was adding to the scene, or what the scene probably missing when I'm not around.
Yeah.
And personally, I just wanted some personal development in my personal life, also Mod Stoney aside.
Yeah.
I just wanted to develop like Masud as its own individual.
Powerful stuff, man.
Yeah, because Masud control Mod Stoney. So my mental state and my personal development is imperative to the outcome of anything that I setting out myself to, pursue or accomplish.
So you spoke about personal development, right? And I was asking, what steps do you take on a consistent basis to ensure that on a go forward, I'm getting better every year? Not just as an artist, but also as a person.
Well, I would say I receive a lot of information.
Yeah.
So it's multiple sources that I turn to assist with personal development, because it's all about the information you're putting in. You understand? Because if you're putting good information, you're going to put out good information, you feel me?
Definitely.
So I feel like, I'm going to say I read a lot, like enough, but I do read, consume a lot of audio content, a lot of podcasts, different conversations with like different demographic, different people from different walks of life, different age range. And fun fact, growing up, I always been the youngest in like my friend circle.
Yeah.
So I just mature faster than most like my peers, because things like maybe like the average 14-year-old, 15-year-old was doing,
You was doing
I
that.
was on some other shit.
Yeah.
Lifestyle. Yeah, so because my peers them was always older than me, so I grew up real fast.
And you essentially turn yourself into a sponge and just soak up information.
Correct. And I like to learn from other people's mistake.
Okay,
While
perfect.
making my own.
So how do you continuously take the chances to do the things when you don't have the experience? I think that's what I should have asked. How do you say, hey, you're gonna take this step and do this thing, and I give you an example where you started out rapping.
Okay.
Rap is what you do. And you decide, yo, I'll do a little soca just for the culture. Let me try this thing. Let me be versatile and do this thing. You take that chance and do that experience, like do that thing to gain that experience, right?
Yeah.
How important do you think it is for you to continuously take those leaps? I think that's what I really want to ask.
Okay. Well, I could answer that. It tie back in to the first question. Well, if not the first, you asked me a question, one word to describe Mod Stoney.
Yes.
And I stated multifaceted.
Yes.
No, multifaceted, versatile, all those words is in the same family.
Yeah.
So I would have to be versatile to be multifaceted.
Of course.
You understand? So now I'm able to fit into different niches because I also stated that I'm a genre bending artist. And for those of you who don't know, like the inception of Mod Stoney, I actually was in like a soca band. So I would like call Connection Band with me, Brandon for ASAP Band, Wes. Yeah. We used to farm the drum for Small Axe, Seiko, Vern, who used to be the keyboard man for Collision. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it, boys. Yeah, so we had a band, so now that we are the soca element. Fun fact, the soca element was developed before the hip hop element.
Wow. And then you just decide rap is what I'm gonna do, cause that's what I into.
Yeah, because rap was lifestyle, and not only that, it kind of was like the genre we needed a face, in the sense like I feel like we had like multiple dancehall artists, but we didn't really had a lot of hip hop artists. You know, we had a few before me, like big up SMI.
Oh yeah.
You understand? Yeah. Big up like the Embassy.
Yeah.
You understand? Big up like who has it do it like I'm a juvenile like Dago.
Oh yeah.
You understand?
Early pioneers in that space.
Easy B don't get shout out.
I don't know Easy B. I'm not gonna
Renton, Osborne.
Okay.
Easy B used to do music back in the day. You understand? So that's a gem for those of you who don't know that, you feel me? Yeah, so shout out Easy B, but that just goes to show you how much of a student I am. I was to the scene, to the game at the time before I even entered. I had to observe and see who was doing it before me. You understand? And see what can I add, what can I do different, what can I bring different to the scene. So I really studied the scene beforehand and then say, okay, I know how to approach it. My inception gonna be wicked. Yeah.
And how do you decide on what you're gonna do from what you're not gonna do? Because I feel like that's also an important thing when it comes to just being creative.
Well, that come from like peer grooming, like my peers being groomed by like my peers, in the sense of what I mean by that is like I grew up around like serious individuals whereas ain't really like a yes man energy. And you know, RIP to Toy won't feel like Lala feel. Them is people who like see the talent before like the world, cause I always used to be on them and landing freestyling and so, and then one day Toy, you know, we don't call him Sheik Man. Sheik Man was like, Maddy and be a landing singer for the rest of your life. Take it to the world, like take it to them, like you're nice. Like in his words, he was like, you're better than these, man. You know, the tongue, man. We feel like we're better than them. You can't feel that. Come on.
Not your bar winners.
Yeah, so that was the energy like I gained. And one advice he gave to me was like, watch, keep it authentic and be you. Be true to yourself and don't talk about things in. Have talk about what you want and talk about your aspirations.
Wow.
So from early on, he gave me that gem, and that's always been like my family, you feel me? So that's why my music might be so relatable, even though in a cultural genre, accepted genre based on culture, at least the way how I present it, you know, it's palatable and some people actually could digest it.
Powerful stuff, man. And how you continue to stay motivated when things get challenging, especially as an artist just starting out in the early stages. If you could see early Mod Stoney, when he decided to take it from the landing to the world, like where's one piece of advice you would give to Mod Stoney at that point before he started the journey?
Don't be so raw.
But they say be authentic. That's what they say to people.
Yeah, but you know, like when you understand the business, I mean, I feel like I was too raw, like real raw. And maybe it worked to my advantage too, eh?
Yeah.
But like I said, you said in hindsight, which is the greatest gift to man.
2020,
you understand? I would go back and probably like be a little bit more polished, because if I had a little bit more polished approach, I would have opened myself to a wider demographic and not just maybe like a niche audience.
Yeah.
I'd have probably go for maybe the more household route.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the advice I would give to like my younger self.
And how you think the transition to New York informed the music for you?
Oh, I just have just a lot more to talk about. Like I seen a lot more, bigger perspective, bigger buildings, a melting pot of different cultures, different people. It's just like out there, everything just more. It's just gargantuan. Everything just. I 6'5", so I feel like it fit me. Like it's like a lot more tall people now.
Yeah. So you don't even feel as tall now?
I don't even feel as tall no more. It's like it's just So I feel like it's just a lot of different, like I said, not to stray, like different experiences in life, different accomplishments, different failures, So it helped a lot. It helped develop like Mod Stoney a lot. Whereas perspective, I could paint a picture in different perspectives now, where I feel like I could speak a language that cater to like different walks of people, because I like soak up so much different cultures.
And you just mentioned failure, right?
Yeah.
How do you reinforce your mental fortitude to deal with setbacks?
To be honest, like growing up, I like anime, and it's a debate between if I like Dragon Ball Z or Naruto more. Still ain't decided yet, but Naruto being the main protagonist, like he was somewhat considered like a failure coming up, and then look at what he turned out to be, you feel me? So like my mental fortitude also like come from even like watching anime sometimes, believe it or not, like, boy, you're gonna be rough, but the main protagonist don't guide easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I am the main protagonist of my movie and my show. So no matter what, I have to find the strength, to always bounce back. If I probably answer the question of how we are finding it from, but because of my mindset, the mindset kind of like iron out all those things, whereas I work on the mindset so much because like it's like mixed with like a sporting mindset.
Yeah.
So I feel like I always gonna bounce back. I see it like, okay, if you lose this match, okay, you can get the 3 points next week. You feel me? Like you just gotta always be willing to get the 3 points next time. Yeah, and get all the 3 points.
I think it's impossible to win all the time.
Yeah, impossible. Yeah, nobody win all the time, but it's how you bounce back. You gotta know to lose too. You understand? Sometimes you gotta just know to lose. You gotta know to fall. Because when you know to break your fall, you can injure yourself. So you can get back up and bounce back easier. So you gotta also fall to learn how to fall, to learn how to bounce back from the fall.
That's a fact.
You gotta know to break your fall. Remember, man, tall, yeah? You can't really to fall up yourself, yeah.
No. It's a long way down.
A long way down. So.
A long way down,
yeah,
man.
you gotta watch where you step in. So you gotta, like I said earlier, like, I learn from people's mistakes a lot, especially in the music space, certain things. So I just, yeah.
You like creating the music more or performing it?
Creating.
Creating?
Yeah.
And what's your creative process like? Do you hear a beat, write a song, you write lyrics, you continuously write lyrics and you match the lyrics to a beat?
Well, the inception of Mod Stoney, before I actually introduced myself to like the scene as an artist, it was my formula was writing a lot of lyrics, and then when I hear the beat, I try to fit it to the beat. But then after, my formula like develop over the years, change, progress. For some it might be regress, it's subjective, but
yeah.
I would say progress to the point where I always wanted an authentic sound, and I never wanted my songs to really sound the same. So I find that when I hear the beat, the production, I would tailor the song to fit the pockets in the beat, so kind of just mesh well with the production, and it just give me a different sound. So all my songs, they ain't really sounding the same, because let's say I write a bunch of tune and like it's similar cadences, similar like, tone, all these things. Like when I hearing myself like recording the song and the beat, now I could switch the tone, I could switch the flow pattern, I could switch the cadence, I could write to how the producer lay out the beat.
I feel what you're saying.
It's like it's easier for me because everything goes in bars. So it's like a beat and like 4 bar where there's 4 to 8. So I tailor the hook where there's 4 to 8 bars and double it based on the structure of the beat. So it actually increased the production rate of me building songs.
Got you, man. You said you're not the main protagonist without a hit, to let you know. So I'm asking you now, when you write How You Mean, that was a hit direct, like this gun go?
So how you mean actually was like, we was on the block just schooling, doing some recreational activities at the time, and I was just freaking like with bigs them and so that with them and sound like, yo, you got the rapper? And I said, what you mean? I bet you ain't got the lighter. What you mean? I bet you ain't got no weed. What you mean? I said, well, ball up then, no? And that was like the dialogue, and then I was like, just had to put melody to just the dialogue, and I was like, in SK, I don't know how you mean. Like, you just SK slangs, you feel me? And then when I went to the studio now, I only had the chorus and maybe piece of the first verse. The song was not structured at all. I just had the chorus. And then when I was in the studio now, the beat running, find the vibe. And then Rodney actually was in the studio while I was recording the song. And then I was like, yo, you want to hop on this? You want to put a verse on this? And then
the rest is history.
The rest is history, magic. But after recording this song, like when it was mixed and everything, like I knew it was a hit. Like off rip, like I actually left the studio with this song on a pen drive. Them times DJ Yadi used to play at Potential, big up Yadi. I actually gave him this song, he drag it off, put it on his laptop, but he didn't play it, you understand?
Yeah.
That we gonna know this to Yadi or not like that. That's up and coming story as a young artist, you feel me? A lot of the young guy go through is a part of the game, you feel me? Just don't weak out. But then I realized now, like, Tat asking me like, but Stoney, you say, yeah, the tune and I was in Potential and me hearing the tune, me hearing what going on.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, word. Went to Envy and Sensio was in there, and I had this idea. I was like, you know what? I cut a dub for Sensio. Yeah, check. I cut an exclusive dub plate for Sister Sensio. And when Sensio pull up that tune there in Envy, then time Envy was Envy.
Yeah.
You feel me? Yeah, in there get level. And that's when now realize, well, yo, he come to me and he actually was like, yo, I want that song. I was like, yo, bro, this is the same tune I actually gave you. You were the first person to get this tune, the first DJ. So it just goes to show you how life works sometimes. So eventually he started to play it and everything, but he got full circle.
Yeah.
You feel me? So man, really like someone else probably would have give up and feel like they ain't good enough or the product ain't good enough. But you just gotta repackage it and remarket it again, and that's what I did.
I think it's actually powerful that you said that, because I hear a man say one time that, long story short, he had a man who was looking for diamonds, right? And he had a garden full of diamonds, but he didn't know they were diamonds because they look like rocks until you clean them off.
Correct.
You feel what I'm saying? But sometimes somebody's got to come in and say, hey, you got something special here for other people to really get, catch that. So momentum is important, and I feel like you got to keep that.
Yeah, correct. And I feel like, them early lessons is just all them things shape me, like my personality, my mentality is like, once I know you good, like I said, the consumer sometimes don't know what they want.
Yeah.
Until you give it to them. And while you're giving it to them now, it might be we as artists in our experimental phase and stages. So we're pushing out different content, different sound, different material, and somebody might be like, oh, I like the last song better than this song. Mm-hmm. But then 6 months down the line, the song what they didn't like, they like that song more than the song what they did like before. Because now the song being played a lot, you're hearing it all the time. It's working in marketing. And not only that, you might hear this song when you're in a different mood or a different headspace, and it resonates now different. Whereas when you was in a different capacity, maybe your favorite track now, you was in a familiar setting and you like it for that. So music sometimes need time. So I feel like people, even myself, I don't know all the time I gonna like half the songs them I like. Sometimes I hear a track like, yo, this man, where is this? But then when I in the club, I hand me juice.
Something different.
Vibes.
Yeah,
so that's what I learned, like coming up, like I curate music like for different feel, different settings and different demographic and different people.
Vibes, man. You mean before or after which black goddess think is Skunk? Like that was before.
Great question. Nobody never asked that question. Fun fact, the Skunk was made before How You Mean.
Okay.
But How You Mean, which when the Skunk was doing anything, cause the Skunk I was probably my first big hit, like notoriety hit, like we're playing in every club, every car in the streets and so. But the growth of How You Mean was faster than the Skunk.
Okay.
Because I actually had to work the record a lot longer, in the sense of you have an original version. A lot of people may not know this. They probably think like big up Chemist, big up Highlight. They probably think the version with Highlight is the original. That's the remix version.
I was one of them people because I didn't know that.
You understand? Yeah, that's the remix, you feel me? So Kemi said hop on it and, you know, highlight with, you know, his greatness again. He gonna add visibility also to the record, and that's why it end up become like a cultural song to this day. The Skunk, you check which black guy, the stinkest skunk, and again, he's asking a question. I like to ask questions, you feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you tell me which black guy. So it's a debate, so I just put it out there and let people debate which black guy the stinkest.
So that in itself is a marketing tool because everybody debating, no, we got it over here.
And that what was going on around when that show, you don't know the energy you was around to
for sure.
The energy, you feel me? So yeah, and but like I said, how you mean came like way after the Skunk, but it just blew up fast because I learned different like marketing tactics and strategies. Like I said, I cut some dub plates. When DJs get dub, they feel a sense of responsibility, maybe to play the music a little bit more because, you know, it personalized to them.
It's exclusive.
It's exclusive. Yeah. Who don't like exclusive shit?
I love exclusive.
I love exclusive kicks. You feel me? So yeah, lifestyle. But yeah, you feel me? But yeah, that's what I did. I found different formulas and different strategies and just work with what worked for me.
And every now and again, you just add things to the toolkit and you go in and you say, okay, this is the speciality tool that I need for this. Let me implement this.
This is the brush.
Okay, all right. Finishing touches. I like that.
Yeah.
On that same note, though, what you think that did for your career and just the reception in many even want to say in Sake, it's just reception in general?
Okay, great question again, because How You Mean was the first song to be, I would say, recognized internationally in the sense of being featured by an accredited publication such as Hot New Hip Hop.
Oh man, that's major. Especially in that time.
Come on, man.
It's a different time before.
Yeah, that's a different time. That was where we get like the new mixtapes, the Lil Waynes, the everybody. So for me to wake up and see like an article by the author name was Angus Walker.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Shout out to Angus, man.
Yeah, shout out to Angus wherever you be in the world, if you ever see this, bro. Love, and the way how, you know, just the journalism and how he articulate himself in the piece. I was like, yo, I reading about myself?
Speak to you different.
I like, this is what this person is hearing from me. And just even like, sometimes it make you look like, you know, like, who I never was talked about in the later, be featured in the later, you know? And it's just a stranger from a different walk of life, from a different spectrum. Like, give me that opportunity and that look without knowing me, just off of like what he like to hear. That kind of hit different for me, you feel me? And kind of let me motivate me to just do me, because that person is out there. You're just saying, hey,
yeah,
your fans out there in different spaces. You just gotta lift up the rocks and pull them out. You check it out. So that way the marketing come into place. You check.
I feel you, man.
Yeah.
And I always say still, like, you never know what the thing gonna be. They're gonna be the catapult to take you to the next level.
Yeah, correct. And to tie in and saying that question, how you mean, like, I would say like it made me a household name in the scene, you feel me? Like, you know, like with the Skunk you get one hit, but can he do it again?
Yeah.
And I top that one there, you feel me?
Without
a doubt. So it was like, yeah, that one was like the stamp of approval. And also at the time, he had some negative connotations towards like the content of the song, because I'm talking about weed and wherever. So you don't know. Me being at the age I was like a teenager. See, people forget that I'm just a kid when I step out, bro. I'm just a kid experimenting. You understand? But I was just doing it well. Yeah. But some felt like I probably maybe was encouraging marijuana usage or whatever. But in that, I always had a foresight. I never used to preach legalization, but decriminalization.
Why the difference?
Because legalization, the local and the small farmers won't make money from it. It's just the institution and the system going to reap most of the benefit from the exportation, etc., etc. And it's just people who, you know, already got the funds, the finances to purchase large land so they could grow in like a larger scale, you know, etc. So you're going to cut out the smaller man. So I feel like, okay, if you decriminalize it and everybody doing the thing and you can't get penalized for it, everybody win. But then when you fully legalize it, which is cool also, but it's just that the small man ain't going to really be making the big dollars from it. Because the institution ain't going to put them in place to reap the benefits.
And the small man going need the capital and he got to go to the same institution.
He still got to go to the institution and he's still putting him in the same problems again. You gotta get a loan, you got this, you gotta borrow from them, and you're working hard to pay back, and you ain't really financial freedom, and you ain't really run your shit, bro.
Yeah, I definitely feel that, man, and it's crazy. But I say all the time, a lot of people got eyes but they ain't got no vision, because you gotta be paying attention to see exactly what you just talk about.
Yeah, and I know the day would have come, because anything that's, if you got a stream of income, right, government want to tap into that. They just got to formulate a way to polish it up to get to tap into it. It's just the system. It is what it is. You feel me? Man. Where there's oil, where there's gold, where there's bauxite, where there's aluminum, where there's uranium, vibranium, I don't care. They're going to tap into it. Demand them going up, boy. What a boy, and them Green Lantern planet for everything. You understand?
Yeah.
Kryptonite, they want it.
They want it.
Yeah, so you just understand that well and just walk out. You know, certain things are just bigger than me, but also are you going to be myself and voice my opinion, because this time my show, bro. You can't tell me what to say, just censor me, that's all.
How do you think, like, you being such an introspective person play into your progression?
You see, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So I listen twice as much, and then I feel like I don't say much, so when I speak, people listen, you know, versus somebody who always talking. Oh yeah, he's talking. They ain't really, that's what he do, he talk. So they ain't really taking what you're saying serious, and I never wanted that to be me or my personality. That's not my personality. When I talk, you listen.
Yeah.
When me talking. That's just who I am. So
when you do get it talking, you know you're saying something.
I'm saying something, or I mean what I say, and I'm saying what I mean.
I feel that.
You understand? So with the introspection, like, it help, you know, with, like I say, personal development. I get to challenge myself more, know my strengths and my weakness, and I get to, like, attack certain fears and, you know, play it out. It's like a safe space, because you wouldn't know what my fear be. You understand? Only me know. And I spend time with it, realizing this my fear, and I might say, okay, coming on this podcast might have been one of my fear, not saying it is, but I'm here, I'm facing it, you feel me? So by me spending time with myself, I learn what make me take, what I like to do, what me ain't like to do, my energy, like who I like to be around, who me ain't like to be around. Like, I just separate a lot of things. When it's maybe sports time, I got my sports friends. When it's music time, I got my music peers. When it's this, I don't really like to mix up, like.
So you curate the spaces and you got there based on how you're feeling and what's happening at the time.
What's happening at the time, yeah. Because I feel like, you know, I keep it's better, healthier relationships that way.
I agree wholeheartedly with that, man.
You don't contaminate the circle. We don't want cross-contamination.
I feel that.
Yeah, cross-pollination.
Yeah. That's understandable, because that's when shit they get a little haywire still to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Separation is good sometimes, man.
Yeah, it's good to keep everybody something. Whether it and I just go over by this bridging house. You ever going on, I want to play 2K. Then I want to play football, I go down by this bridging house. You understand? Because that's the FIFA, man. Yeah. Okay, he got the fighting game, I going by this bridging, because he only play fighting. And I find that life just simpler that way. Because you ain't forcing people to change or come out of the bubble to be uncomfortable in another space, just to be buddy, go along, get along, like, nah, I mean, believe in that.
You just talk about basically creating spaces, right? Who is 2 of your favorite people to collaborate with? It could be artists, it could be producers, it could, you know, anybody in the space, or you being a musician.
I never really think about who is 2. Okay, I like to collaborate with. So let's just look at music. Let's keep this one music. It might be easier for me to answer. In terms of music, I feel like I have natural chemistry. Like, me and Zo got good chemistry. I like working with Zo because Zo now does actually bring me back into rapping again.
Yeah.
I like me dancehall vibe and that kind of hybrid flow, that trap, hybrid dancehall, hip hop kind of vibe. I like that space there. So whenever Zo send a file, I'll be like, okay, I get into rap again. Yeah, check it out. So that will actually bring out to me, and I feel like, you know, Tat, me and Rodney got natural chemistry. Like, you know, people, every time me and Rodney, like, probably do a tune, they feel like natural.
Yeah.
And if it's one more honorary mention, I would say Jedos. Cause I feel like that's like the younger version of me in his own unique way when it comes to music. Like, when it comes to music, tone, vocal tone, delivery, lyricism, capability. Those 3 artists is natural chemistry. Oh, and highlight natural chemistry. Cause I could just send a file and get it back like it's nothing. It's natural chemistry when me and chemists work. So I have like a niche again, small group of people who I work with. We are just enjoy, like, cause we've been working for years, so you just come like natural now. You feel me? Like, they know, all right, when Stoney sends something, it's serious.
Yeah.
yeah, this a man just don't send a track every month or every week or wherever, you feel me? So when this man sends something, yeah, it works, I get done.
And I mean, you just mentioned 4 phenomenal artists in their own, because all of them different.
Yeah.
Everybody got their lane and how they operate. But what's crazy is I had my 2 people, which is Zoo and Dose.
Yeah.
And that's just cause like I know them personally. I've been around some of the creative process and seen them man put a thing together. And when you guys do music together, it's very seamless, very effortless. I mean, all the people that you mentioned, that's how it is.
Correct.
But just the 2 that I had in mind.
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah.
Just because we got that personal relationship, because I know them and I interact with them more frequently. And a follow-up question to that is, would you ever do like a collaboration tape?
Yeah, definitely. Because like I said, if we take it back in time, I did a collaboration tape with Abby the Mayor, the new SK.
Yeah, that's true. You did say that.
You understand? So I collaborating once it makes sense. I don't like to force anything though. Like you see how me and you hear reasoning, we kind of have to sit and have a conversation and reason. For us to then materialize a collab project. Me feel like I could do a collab tape from email. I mean, it can happen, but it just won't really. The fans wouldn't know, first and foremost. They wouldn't know. But for me personally, I would want got the conversation and got a kind of relationship with the person, whether it's during the creating process of the project. Yeah, we got at least, chill, bang a drink, reason, because I feel like it'll resonate in the music more. You'd hear like the chemistry more versus when, you just send a file here and there. It's like, all right, it sound good, decent, but you ain't really feeling that unison, that synergy on the track. So yeah, I would definitely do a collaboration tape to tie back in and finally answer the question, yes.
Nah, definitely, man. And I feel like we do a little bit of that tonight, just on coincidence, because we're trying to get something to eat. That's really what it was. And during the time getting something to eat, we had conversations. And like I tell you on the balcony, man, like I know you for a long time, but I don't really know you. Correct. Having the conversation with you tonight is like, man, like I know of him. Yeah. I love the music. Yeah. And I see the person around. Yeah. But really talking to you and sitting down and having a conversation, I met Masud. That's what I feel. Like, you know what I mean? I see Stoney all the time, but I met Masud today, man, in a different type of way still, man. And on that same just creative space, like, where's one song that you feel like you had the most fun, like, creating? Like, just off top of your head, like, what popped into your mind one time? Like, this was just such a good, like, this was just such a, like, a fun experience to make, man. Like, just making the song.
That's a good question, because I feel like that's such a tough question, because every song have like a moment, like something surrounding it. So actually trying to pick a good one. Like, how you mean was a good moment? Run Drinks was a vibe too.
Oh man, that's a hit. That's a soca hit, bro.
420 Party. I think that was a good time too. That was a good vibe too. Man, let me just pick one. Let me say Shoulda Had a K.
Shoulda Had a K?
Yeah, that one gonna come left field, but Shoulda Had a K. I remember like the whole vibe, like the feeling, like when I first saw that clip and like it was going viral with the intro I used and certain things, like the whole. I remember the whole vibe like around it, and when freestyling this song, like me and my boy Nick were calling, and like the reaction to it when I was freestyling it, I was like, you gotta record that one there now. Yeah, so it's just, we was in like upstairs, like when my apartment got empty apartment, so we used to just cool up there and whatever, and just vibing. We actually got video footage of that and all.
That's crazy.
Like the process side. So I would say, it was a fun time when I was actually holding the vibe, like creating, manifesting Shoulda Had a K. I mostly like freestyle most of the songs them and then add structure to them after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The best songs them was from a freestyle and structure added.
Okay.
The hits, I should say.
The hits.
Come that, they normally the formulate them.
On the same like point, because I was talking to you earlier about just the creativity, the innovation, like to see this clip going viral, and even though you use it as inspiration, it's just organic in a way. Where like if you never see that clip, the viral clip, like you wouldn't even know like this is just a thing that the man pulled from something that happened randomly and just make it into a song.
Make it into a song. Like,
and on that same note, is like I want to ask you about the ad-libs, right? Because we went to Imari tonight, and the first thing the girl said when she see you is, I need ammo. Yeah. You check like that's a real, like, that's the first thing pop into she wanted to say. So like, give the people the context of where that come from.
Well, when I actually like was like, okay, we're gonna make you stand out as an artist in the scene, saying it's a Nevis and ad-libs. Nobody really were doing ad-libs. And I have a friend named Jakima Fleming. We went to CFB together. And fun fact, I always got to big up Jakima because she played a little pivotal role, a part of the story as well, because I'm going to take it back into the ad-lib question and Mary, but I'm just taking it down memory lane a little bit.
Yeah.
She actually signed me up for a Show Your Talent event at CFBC in the common room. And I used to freestyle on the corridors and so daily, battle, and my stripes, And she signed me up like without me knowing, and then while we just there cooling, me and Maddie and so we there cooling, I hear me name announce, next to perform. So you see her come up to me like, yeah, you're going to perform. And I like, huh? You don't perform? Yeah, you don't perform. No way, what you mean? So she was like, man, now you got this. Like, you're talented. Like, just show them what I know you got. Pretty much, you check?
Yeah, speaking of power into you, right?
Yeah, bro. And I like... She used to call me Madino. Yeah, she said, Madino, don't let me down, Don't let me down. Don't let me down. I said, yo, Jackie, bye. Then I went, and that clip is actually on YouTube. So when you see this, do our homework, just scroll right down to like my first ever uploaded video.
Nah, man, they ain't gonna gotta do that. I gonna get that, and I gonna put
it. Oh, yeah, but okay.
I got you.
Okay, yeah. So you guys gonna actually see what I'm talking about right now. And then I went up, and yeah, it was a vibe. And then the rest was history from there. And now to tie into the ad-lib, she was like, you ever heard of this artist named Chief Keef?
Of course.
That's what she said to me.
Bang, bang.
But I didn't know about I didn't even know Chief Keef existed, bro.
Yeah.
I went to him now and type it in on YouTube, because them computer, you're going home to use your computer.
Good old
We used to look forward to getting home to use the computer to check it out. So yeah, I got home on YouTube now, type in, and I just end up down a rabbit hole, my boy.
Yeah.
I just be a GBE content. Glory boys content. And it's like, but what stood out now is the ability to make the ad-libs them stand out. Cause so you hear so bang bang.
That's the first thing I said when you say it.
So baby. You understand? So because I kind of jovial comedic person in the private life, you check out.
Yeah.
Them is the things what I would freak about in the tune. So I be home and saying bang bang. So baby.
Yo.
No, me remember the lyrics to this song, but I remember all the ad-lib them. And I was like, yo, there's different gravy right here. And then I said, I need ad-libs that represent Mod Stoney. When you hear ad-lib, you're supposed to know about that Stoney and the track. Even if you ain't familiar with the song, because it might be in a different tone, a different delivery, it might be a different genre.
Yeah.
But from you hear the ad-lib,
you know who it is.
You know who it is. So then that became like a marketing tool of mine, where now I also find that the ad-libs them stood out in such a way where one popular one is better run.
Yeah.
You understand? And people just see me and just say, better run. People see me and be like, how you mean?
Yo, you know it's so crazy though?
Yeah.
Know that you said all of that?
Yeah.
He had one time, this is years ago.
Yeah.
This is before Mali had studied, when we used to lay him under the thing there, where the garage, right? And you come down the road, and when you back the corner, that's Mali said, I need them out. But them time, me ain't even familiar with what going on. So I watching it like, okay, man, it's a disconnect. You check. And it's like, to your earlier point where the ad-libs just resonate a different type of way. And that's an identifier for you.
Yeah, because when Flipper saying Flipper, it be like, wallet. That's a different ad-lib I would use, a different tune.
Yeah.
You check it out, but that's just me and Flip thing saying, say, wallet, yo. So it's like ad-libs like showcase my personality. Like I feel like that's how I showcase my personality and my jovial side in music. And to answer your question, the I Need Ammo, it actually came from, well, growing up I was a gamer. I like playing video games, and I actually had this game called Battlefield. I think we used to play Battlefield.
Yeah,
we
exactly
looked at Battlefield a couple of times, Yeah. So it had the operative. Whenever like your partner would get injured, get shot, whatever, you could actually go in and hit some commands like, I need a medic.
I need a medic!
Like, I need backup.
Yeah.
So, and one of them was, I need ammo.
I can hear it in my head right now, actually.
Literally, so.
Yeah.
Playing the game so much, like, when the chain man I hearing it, like, I always used to spam, I need ammo, I need ammo.
I need ammo! I need ammo! I need ammo! Ammo, throw me some ammo!
I need that. So, playing amongst my circle, my friend circle grew up now. They be like, yo, but you can't stop Gunny man saying that all the time. Like, it become a 9 to them. You check, but like, I love it fun for me. Like, every time the guy like, I need ammo, them man like, but who you to be killing, sir? Who you shooting, sir, all the time? Like, you always running out of ammo, stop running, guns blazing, like, weird. God, that's me. I just running in. Yeah, I ain't following no rules. And
just empty the clip and double back.
And respawn and double back again. And yeah, so after doing that so much, and I tune, I was like, I need ammo. And the rest was history from there. But that's where I pretty much like get the idea for that ad-lib from.
That's interesting, man. One thing that's been consistent throughout this whole conversation is you being exposed to something and then turn it into something creative. That's something you've been doing like all your life?
Yeah, because it's good to be unique and be different, you feel me? Like, how can you stand out? And I got a line in a tune where I said, maybe it's an unreleased, but I said, even when I sit, I stand out.
That's a bad, man. That's a fucking bad.
Yeah, so it's like, it's just where people afraid to be different. I strive for that.
And again, you mentioned fear. Because you said something to me earlier that was super powerful that I can definitely take to the heart, where you said I'd identify the fear and then I coach it out. And like, that to me is so powerful, right? Because I tell you earlier, we in the Matrix and there's a lot of mental games, right? And you need that mental fortitude and be able to, like you said, sit with yourself and take that introspective dive. Where do you think that come from though? Because what you just described to me is a tool. I guarantee you I didn't read a book that talk about what you said, you just say it a different type of way.
That now come from like, I would say like migrating when I moved to NY.
Yeah.
That shit was like, remember like, how old I was when I moved back? Probably 22 or something like that. Early 20s, right? And just transitioning into like, okay, bye big man, I never pay rent before, like, I gonna just, sorry to say it, but I just talking my true, like, big on my parents them and come from good home and so. They did well. So at the end of the day, like, I wasn't exposed to paying rent at a young age.
Yeah.
So in the Caribbean, we don't really, and if we want to move out with parents' house and go wherever, but they don't chow us out and they don't run us. We normally build a space and add on to the family house.
Without a doubt.
That's how we get on, cause home is home, you feel me?
I want the Sunday food.
I want my pie. Yeah. So now leaving my habitat now, going out there and, certain family members like, but you gotta learn how to swim on your own, yeah. New York, you feel me? This is how we be a check and end up had to jump out and live on my own, get my own apartment and these things, working like 2 jobs and these things to like just pay your rent. You're just doing 2 jobs just to pay your rent alone. So I just had to man up real quick and like, get down and do what I gotta do and just pivot actually. That's one of my favorite words then, because I feel like that's also another word that represent me as somebody would like, know when to and how to pivot when it's necessary. You check I don't stay the same, and that tie back into being a multifaceted artist.
And just a unique individual
altogether. So, I just had to like adapt, and I feel like I just adapt well to my environment, seeing that the end coming up in like Newtown, you feel me? Like Newtown ain't in a soft soap community, bro.
Nah.
You understand? It's like it prepare you, to be able to maneuver in different environments. So, just getting like the culture and being able to, navigate, it help a lot for me out there. So,
Nah, big facts, man.
Yeah, so that was just that was it for me.
It's important that you say, I know you just kind of gloss over it a little bit, but I just want to go back to the fact that you say you was working 2 jobs just to pay the rent. And I think that it's important to just harp on the fact that ain't a better roses out there. And when you get out there, it's you and you, regardless of who with you.
Yeah, I can remember telling my mother, like, but mommy, I want to move back home. My mother tell me, but I know who you talking to on the phone, but me raised no punk.
Your mom's is a G for that, man, but that's what you need to hear, though.
Yeah, and I like, but that they tough me up, man. And that she said just tough it out, and and wherever she could assist me, she would assist me. Understand? So, yeah, it's a big up Mamsie all the time.
Nah, for sure, for sure.
That's like my role model, you feel me?
Nah, man. Yeah. Like, and it's amazing to hear you say that, bro, because I used to assume that everybody come from a home like that. You know what I mean? Where you got love in the home.
Yeah.
And that's not always the case. And you won't know that until like you got conversations with other people. And what I noticed too is money ain't necessarily got anything to do with it. Because you could come from a home with money but not love.
Correct.
And the love does nurture you in such a way. And that's something I didn't even notice until my mother passed away. You know what I'm saying? And
condolences again.
Appreciate you, bro. is like just that watering you to say, hey, I'm gonna be proud of you regardless. But they see the light in you to not to keep motivating you, cause this one, he gonna do something if he decide to do something.
Yeah, because you know what it is, bro, is like what to keep me humble and grounded too, because like, you know, like your parents would like set out a plan in their head for you.
Yeah.
Right? And you might go rogue and do your own thing and find your success your own way, right?
Yeah.
So it's always like, it's like a humbling, whereas despite what going on in music, parents, my mom will still be like, yo, where you don't go do this? How you don't go do that? It's like, none of this was happening. Really, like, man, I'm saying registering and she know what's going on, but it's like a matter to her.
Yeah.
So it's like she care about other stuff. And just like sometimes hearing that is like motivate you to not stick to one thing, you know, like, and I believe like the biggest honor you could be just honor your parents in a mistake where like I feel like, you know, I can't please all the time or them all the time. I kind of unruly and they do my own thing now and again because I'm my own individual. But I would listen.
Yeah.
And I feel like just even like, you know, she might be like, oh, but you ain't a dummy. Why you just don't go back to school, get a degree, or do something? Like, just those things help keep me grounded, bro. Man, I would explain it. Like, I never get too lost in the sauce. Like,
that's important.
Like the artist vibe. Like like people around me pull me back to reality like real quick. Like I never feel like I always feel like just a normal individual if I'm up on the project. Like so some people like would react differently maybe when what you doing here? What you doing here? What you doing here? You understand? So, but sometimes you don't forget, like, as an artist, I use this public figure, this individual, so people sometimes might view you in a different light that you ain't even viewing yourself, you feel, you know? I mean, we carry the conversation a little bit off track, but just...
I mean, everything you're saying is relevant and insightful, so we right on topic, man. The questions is just to spark it, man, to be honest. And you talk about doing your own thing and finding success. Mm-hmm. What does success mean to Mod Stoney?
Success to Mod Stoney is accomplishing everything that I set out to accomplish. So success to me is a personal, I don't know if I want to share what is success to Mod Stoney because it's a part of my superpower and my mistake because remember, right, how can you gauge me if you don't know what he's trying to attain, what his version of success is, and you won't be able to compare me to anybody else or compare my version of success to the next man because success is subjective.
I agree.
So I believe that I already win because the things that I said I gonna do since high school, I did it.
I mean, to that same point, Patrick does tell me all the time, bro, remember that we already successful.
We already, so sometimes we need to calm down and like, because think of it, like success is measured when you're comparing it, right? So it's like you put you next to a drink champs. It may seem like you ain't successful, right? But you compare you to the space that you're in with what you're doing and the quality of content you're providing, bro. Like, you ain't really no comparison. You're successful already. It's just that, you know, the audience ain't tuning to what's happening right now. And this is going to be a timestamp and a testimony to the success of the show.
Appreciate
and I'm saying it with conviction, you feel me? Like, are you just sleeping? Are you sleeping? I ain't wake up yet to what going on. You understand? So, like I say, success is what you set out for it to be. And your individual targets that you may not even share with people. Because you can't really share too much of things with people because you got forces fighting against you, feel me? So like I say, success for me is getting to accomplish my personal goals.
I think that you actually answered the question how I wanted the question answered because the idea was to make sure that people understand that success is an internal metric. Like you gotta dictate your thing and what's important to you because I find a lot of the times people they be using the wrong metrics. And I think I don't remember I think it's Albert Einstein actually said that if you were to measure the ability of a fish by its ability to ride a bicycle, the fish would live its entire existence thinking that it's dumb because it's not meant to ride bikes.
It's made to swim.
Yeah, so if the fish don't know he's supposed to be swimming because everybody's saying he's supposed to ride a bike, you can live your whole life not realizing his superpower.
Exactly. You understand? So me, like, because, you know, off camera, you know, we share a lot of things like you say, like, is a level of success for me personally.
Yeah.
I just don't want to share with people, you feel me? Like,
Facts.
why not business? I ain't supposed to know everything. We just gonna go there like okay, everything I supposed to know. It's love man, but ain't everything we can tell them, cause then they try to like create different, and you understand. So yeah, I feel like I'm very successful and hitting the targets that I set out to hit like years ago, and to even be sitting down here over 10 years having this conversation about the inception of Mod Stoney is just a testament. Like, come on.
Full circle moment, man.
Full circle moment, and we said we would have this dialogue like years ago.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's like you said, man, this happened so organic. Like, we picked the day and just how the whole vibe went to set up the conversation that we have it now. Because the dialogue we had before this, to me, set the premise and give me a better insight into who Mod Stoney is, or who Masud is.
Yeah, correct.
Before I actually sit down with the individual to have this conversation. And I think the background that you provided prior to this was extremely helpful for me, because it gave me a sense of your thought process and into how you think about things, how you approach things. And you drop a lot of gems off camera that I wish I had.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you, but you drop so much more gems here tonight, you know what I mean, on camera. And then the next time we sit down again, it's going to be the same thing. I just got a few more questions.
Yeah, no problem.
Before we get out of here, I kind of want to go back to the creative side a bit. And I was telling you about Omnipotent earlier, and I feel like it's just an exceptional body of work, like top to bottom. It's short and sweet, ain't too long neither. So sometimes I find myself like I spin it 3 times back to back and not even really realize that I don't run it 3 times back to back until I get to one Basaka again. And it's like, this is the 3rd time. You know, I be the job of this track, man. And I just want to ask you where the name came from for the tape Omnipotent.
The name came from like just years of being in the scene, the SK scene, and just doing it different. And I could remember one time, like Infamous, he wrote a post, like I think it was after my first music festival performance. I was like, man, sure which show, and he expounded about like the uniqueness, like how different I be like. It's like, you know, like it's just a different vibe from, you know, comparing to like any other like artist before, you know, after, and just always being like spoke about in, you know, that kind of like manner.
Yeah.
Just a sense of omnipotence, same as still. You feel me? It's like when it comes to like the genre what I in, like I just feel like I the omnipotent one, because at the end of the day before me, ain't nobody was like rapping with no Saint Kitts accent, me by. Everybody was trying to sound like they from foreign or they from somewhere other than Saint Kitts.
Yeah.
You understand? And I make a personal decision to say like, no, I gonna sell culture through music. I want when somebody hear me for the first time, they wonder like, where you from? What I mean? What that slang mean? You feel me? So it's just you're selling culture through music, and I want it to be the first Mod Stoney, not like the next 50 Cent, the next, like that shit whack to me. Like, me I want to be like nobody, like that Kanye check. Like, I just want to be me, make my own mistakes, do it my way, carve my lane my way, because at the end of the day, how you're going to be a curator, an innovator, and you're following somebody. Nothing wrong with being inspired.
Because there's a difference.
It's a big difference. You understand? But I just was like, but man, really want to sound like nobody. I believe in individuality. You understand? I believe like, you know, like when you see me, you should know it's me. Like I said, dub myself 6'5" and bony. And fun fact, that was my first actual mixtape title. And people just like would run with these things. People, you see me be like, yo, 6'5" and bony. You know, cause image, branding, where you see is where you know it's me when you see it's me. So, you know, to tie back into the question, all those things like, you know, over the years and like the love what we get outside people. Oh, and as in Bailey, one time he referred to me as like this mythical kind of, he's like, it's the name where you just know and hear, but sometimes it's like the name or just, you know the name. It's like, oh, Mod Stoney, but some people be like, I mean, you know, it has an overseas artist. It's always something. You check it out. So it just was like, but yeah, I was just in the energy of omnipotence. You check, and like I said, spiritual belief and background. So I feel like when it comes to the genre and this space, I wasn't operating in based on the reaction, the reception, the features, you know, like the groundbreaking things I did within the genre, never been done locally. Yeah. You understand? And that's just facts. You check, no, this documented.
The truth is the truth.
The truth is the truth. So I feel like I just perfect what the ones had started before me and just made it my own. And yeah, that what made me like the omnipotent one within that genre, that space, you feel me?
Facts.
And that's where, I come up with the title Omnipotent.
And
for the EP.
You mentioned multifaceted a couple times, right? And it's obvious to see that you are. How did you decide to pivot into modeling? Like, if you want to just briefly touch on that.
Oh, my lifestyle.
Just lifestyle.
Yeah, right now that is slang I've been using over, like the sugar bass, the carnival.
That's the third, fourth time you use it. You said something like lifestyle.
Yeah. People feeling it right now, yeah. Look, I went Juve in a white robe, bro.
I saw you. So Stoney out here doing Stoney things.
Yeah, Stoney things, lifestyle. I just do me, I just do what you want, you understand? If I wake up, that's how I feel, I do that. But people have been pressuring me to do that modeling thing for years now. And again, it was a fear to face. And I just face it like with one of the biggest brands in the world, like, you understand? So it was easy for me because, like I said, it was just something on my fear list that I wanted to check off. I wanted to just venture out and expand like my portfolio.
Yeah.
Because fun fact, I had an opportunity to be in like a short film movie like years ago, and they sent me the script and everything. It was like this, like something like a web version of like Top Shuttles, like a rough kind of.
Yeah.
So the script was tough, you feel me? And it was one of my fear, and I didn't face that fear.
Yeah.
To like transition, like just beyond the artist. Like I always say, I want to be more than just an artist. Mod Stoney is a brand. But at the time when the opportunity was presented, remember, like man's working 2 jobs, man, like in the real mental state to pursue like the arts, you feel me?
Yeah.
I had to focus on like life shit. So my mental wasn't really there to compartmentalize like dealing with like real life and then venturing into an unknown field now, which is like would have been acting for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't know like what tone of voice to use here. Like you know, like I'm winging it, bro. You feel me? And I actually I don't regret a lot of things, but I regret not being strong enough to capture that opportunity and in that period of time. So I always use that as an example to try to always face your fears, you check.
Nah, that's a powerful message, man. Like, that's the one thing you've been saying tonight consistently that I just making mental notes about, because like fear is a thing that can always be around, so you gotta be able to identify and kill the fear. Because I hear a man say one time, like, if you face your fears, right, it can't inhibit you no more. You know what I mean? Because then the thing that was the boogeyman, if you pull it, it's like watching an episode of Scooby-Doo, man, and they pull the mask off. It's like, you in here doing this
nonsense, boy.
Can't believe it's you, man.
You understand? And one of my fears earlier, like in the inception of my career, was like bright lights.
Yeah.
Shit that make you sweat.
Yeah, I was sweating bullets earlier, but I don't want hot.
Yeah, but then eventually now, face the fear like on multiple occasions now. I love the bright light. I love the big stage.
So, do you still get nervous? Because you be
I know.
You just got to do your thing.
What you mean? Like before, like I said early on in my career, of course I used to get nervous. But I come with time, experience, perfecting your craft. To be honest, like relatively honest, the only sense of nervousness is like not being able to deliver to my full capability or potential that I know I have within, because I still feel like me really is a lot more to unlock when it comes to performance.
Yeah.
I love performing live. Like that's one of my strong points, them, you feel me? But I got so much more like, okay, but in my head is a rock star.
I feel that.
No, I navigating within a space and a culture what ain't really know how to receive that, know how to judge it, whatever, you feel me? So sometimes you're still battling with like being yourself. But like migrating to NY answer that help, you face them fears a lot more, you check.
You ain't got no choice.
Yeah, me had no choice. I just had to pivot because you swim in the sharks now, boy. You understand?
On the same note, right?
Yeah.
You say you love performing.
Yeah.
You prefer an intimate setting like zoo and friends, or you prefer, because I feel like it's a difference, right? Where you can feel the energy from the crowd, of course, if you're on a big stage, for sure. There's a lot of energy, hype, and all of that.
Yeah.
But the smaller setting is more intimate. And
I just going to show you the pros and the cons of that, but you navigate into it. Because the smaller setting now, I could hear what you're saying in the car now. I could more feel the energy because it's more enclosed, you feel me?
Yeah.
Whereas now, on a bigger stage, bigger production, it's like you got stage monitors and all them things bouncing back into you. So I'm more hearing the quality of my voice and my sound, more so hearing the audience.
Yeah.
Because it real loud on the stage. So sometimes now you might be performing and you're getting a big forward and you can't even capitalize on it something because you ain't really hearing it.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's when you watch back the video from like the grounds, you're like, what man, you were jumping, shaking, I did say man, you were crickets, my man, is that what going on the ground, you feel me? So when you're on big stage now, that's why sometimes if you see me perform, I like to level the band. I like to keep it at a moderate level when I perform in certain songs. I need to feel the crowd and interact with the crowd. Because I like feed off of the people, you feel me? I just know where, okay, they're feeling this song, so I soak it, you feel me?
Yeah.
Okay, the vibe in this is a new song, they ain't really know it yet, they know how to receive it. Okay, so man and soak that. Trash can put that to the back, but at least I introduce it.
Yeah.
So I feel like to answer the question, which one I prefer more, it all depends on the event, but to not sit on the fence, I like the big stage because I got more space to work with. I prefer like, I love the music festival stage because, you know, reason why I said that is this, bro. Main on cap. You got Champions League, right? And you got Premier League. Which one you would want your team win?
Me no football, but I can say champions.
All right, because you know why? Because the Champions League is a league of champions.
As the name suggests.
Yeah, understand? So it's like bigger league, more recognition. You know, like, it's like Messi them and Ronaldo ain't playing corner league, bro.
Nah.
You understand? So I view myself as like a, you know, corner league artist.
Yeah.
So I'm going to always strive and aspire to be on like the biggest stage because I want to showcase my talent to a large audience.
Yeah.
I want, you understand, market myself to more people. So when you back yourself and you believe in yourself now, you ain't not limit yourself to like say, I just want to go in this small setting because it's more comfortable. Like I believe like comfort like come from the devil. Devil that make people comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, all the growth that happen just outside your comfort level. So
your comfort level.
You don't
and
step
comfort
out.
keep you stagnant.
Without a doubt, man.
Yeah, so anything that's too comfortable, it's nice, but on to the next. I want to do bigger and better things. That's how you keep growing as an individual. But nevertheless, I still love the intimate setting when I get to do it. And like Zoe and Friends was like one of the best in a long time, you feel me? Other than like when I was coming up, when I doing like the clubs, cause I was doing a lot of club. I would normally always book in the club like every week or every other week, you feel me?
Yeah.
So the clubs, I love clubs at that time because of like the intimacy. So to add to your point, you know, it serves its purpose. I feel like when you're on the, you know, you're trying to make your name, the incline, you feel me? But then after when you're done, find yourself with a string of hits now. But you want to hear arena like,
oh, you mean?
Alright, that shit hit different when it's 5,000 people versus 300 people and 200 people. The elation, the feeling.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like a sense of euphoria, you feel me? So I would say on that, I prefer the big stage, boy. Champions League.
Yo, Zika used to tell me this shit all the time. Too tall to act small.
Yeah, boy. 6'5", superior complex. Even when I sit I stand out.
Yo.
Yeah, you understand? Like, and that's where I come from. Like, they're just too tall to think small, too tall to act small, too tall to react small. Man, it's just a tall complex where, like, a tall outlook, you feel me?
I definitely can relate, man.
Yeah,
for sure,
that's
for
just
sure.
my energy. I feel like I'm too tall to be whining about certain things.
Yeah.
Too tall to be arguing too much about. It's just like a vibe, bro. Like, it's like a little barrier. Like, yo, I feel like you look goofy if you're acting this way. Cause you're too tall to be acting that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a vibe. I just like, yeah.
It's been an immaculate pleasure, bro. You know, we're coming to the close, right? And the final question I love to ask is, if people are only gonna see this last clip, like this is all they're gonna see, what is one message you would have for the people?
One message I will have to the people, if this is my last clip they're seeing. Yo, we don't ever think about what we would say, what we last words would be, eh? So that's a powerful question. But based on how I live my life, I would just be like, yo, just live with love. I would tell them, don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to fail. Be different. Dare to be different. Be unique. You understand? You know, be an innovator and try to have more like positive outlook on anything you're doing and strive and look for solutions, because only solutions could combat and solve problems. So I feel like if you live your life searching for solutions or trying to be a solution, you always solve the problems or learn how to navigate, when problems come your way, check. So yeah, I feel like that way we live with the people. From the words of Mod Stoney, like, yeah, be a solution, not a problem.
Powerful stuff, bro. Yeah. It's been, like I said earlier, man, I know I was in stupendous company. It's been an immaculate conversation. I think you gave a whole bunch of insight that would be insightful to the people to know who Mod Stoney is, but also tools for people to use in their own daily lives too. Because you provide a lot of perspective, especially on the fear factor, man. Like, it's so powerful that somebody of your stature and magnitude, like, taking the time to say, but yeah, I had fears too, but I still take a step forward and went and do my thing still. And you hear in the flesh, living proof that you could self-actualize. Cause like you said earlier, man, everything that you set out to do since high school, you've been knocking them down. You know what I mean? And you gave some ideas about different things for the episode off camera. And one thing you said to me that also stuck with me is that you force other people to think big. That's the energy that you bring to the table. And it could be because you're 6'5" and bony. Yeah. But, that's just the approach that you bring, bro. And it's been a stupendous pleasure to sit here with you, have this conversation, get to learn you and learn more about you, get to know you better and see the person. And the gems that you dropped here tonight was amazing, bro. Like, nothing short of phenomenal. I actually, take away a lot of stuff from what you're saying. I'm going to internalize a lot of that and take my introspective journey myself. So I just want to thank you for coming on the platform, bro. And, shedding your light here, because any room you walk into, you light up, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you for taking the time, bringing your light here. I'm looking forward to see what you do in the future. We definitely gonna have to have a part 2. But you're gonna be a regular,
definitely. Who knows, we might materialize into co-host one day. Remember, we're doing it big, we have got big artists on this platform one day, you understand?
Without a doubt,
we got a big A-list artist doing an interview in St. Kitts and Nevis. They're gonna come on the ground and we gonna make it happen, you feel me?
Here.
Like I said, thank you for having me.
Bro, my pleasure, man.
It's a pleasure to even be here having a conversation with the great Juda Hendrix. I'm going to learn a lot about Juda Hendrix in time to come.
I appreciate that, man. But that's all the time that we got for today, man. I can steal that line from It Is What It Is and say, until next time, continue elevating. The only thing stopping you is you. The only limitations that you have on your trajectory is your imagination. Right? And the only thing that's going to materialize that imagination is your works. They can't stop you. They can only hope to continue. So just keep going. We out of here, man.
I need ammo.
I should have been. Oh, man. I need that. Better, man.
I was going to do it, but that's it. That's
so great. You. Man, they talk after clothes.
I need ammo.
Yo, 305, you're ready.
Careful. Word around town, I back and roll. Man a big stage bully, let's rock and roll. They don't want just watch and scroll. Man full enough shoes, that different soul. So me lock and load. Pussy, me in a back and forth. Silly willy, even nearly know I am. My life like captions, plenty good. You could go ask me shack. I been the goat, like Conris, everybody take the boat. Diago and Nevis take the boat. Who can swim better learn to float? They never had small days, deep water port. They never went by scout, can't tie no rope. They can't plumb, can't tell, can't drill no hole. Only thing they care about is pokey hole.